Madoka Magica is a cool show with interesting aspects and details to explore. And right off the bat, spoilers. Spoilers for the show, for the movie, just full spoilers. Spoilers ahead, so be warned. There's so much you can look into for deeper meaning with every single character, witch, doppel, and that's what I usually talk about. But you know what else Madoka Magica has that I really want to talk about? Transformation sequences! True to all magical girl shows, the transformation sequence is one of the most beautiful, intricately dynamic animations for the show. Madoka Magica is unique in it that we only see each transformation once, but it's also very unique in that we get all new transformations for different supplemental material. Today, I'm going to be ranking only the Holy Quintet. There are a ton of other transformations I could rank, being the Magia Record Girls or the summonings from the app game, but those are both big enough that I think it would warrant their own videos. For now, I'm just sticking to Mami, Sayaka, Madoka, Homura, and Kyoko. I'll be ranking their transformations from the show, their summoning cards from the mobile game, and their transformations from the movie Rebellion. Also, their transformations from the original anime got jazzed up versions for the Blu-ray movie release, so I'll be ranking those too. And there's a few transformations from the Magia Record anime I want to discuss as well. Adding it all up, there'll be 25 total transformations I'm discussing today. Let's not waste any more time and dive into the list. Going from the worst to the best, we begin with... So this kind of needs a little bit of explaining. Technically, in the original run of the show, the girls only got one transformation each. However, in the updated Blu-ray movie, they got the opportunity to give Mami and Kyoko second transformations, where they didn't originally have them before. And you'd think getting an extra opportunity for a flashy transformation, specifically made with the extra budget, that this one wouldn't have been at the bottom of my list. But here we are. First of all, the mood and timing is really terrible for this one. This is when Kyoko is bringing Madoka into Sayaka's labyrinth with the hope of being able to save her from her witch form. A very dire situation, a sad, mournful moment, and yet during this whole transformation, Kyoko is all smiles and has a playful demeanor. It really doesn't fit the mood of the moment. Second, it's a little too flashy. Like, I have a hard time even actually seeing what's happening. It's all kind of just becomes colorful noise for my eyes, and to top it all off, the pacing is really frantic. Like, I was worried I had accidentally hit the fast forward button somehow. This is just way too fast-paced to follow. There is such a thing as being over-ambitious, and I think this whole sequence proves it. The animation is so overdone, it makes it a detriment to her outfit reveal. These transformations are meant to show off their outfit change and their weapons, and this actively makes it harder to enjoy those things. And it's timed at a bad spot in the flow of the narrative. No thought seemed to go into the creation of this transformation, and it's just a shame. Almost the entire opposite of Kyoko's last transformation, this one is just boring. Literally, the most boring transformation in the whole list. They're like, isn't a real transformation. This was the original one showed in the anime, and it sucks that Sayaka, out of all of the girls, got completely shafted like this. They just put this musical circle effect over her and overlay some blue with a picture of her face, and then she instantly pops out in her new outfit. Now, to give credit where credit is due, this was a fast-paced situation. Sayaka and Madoka was chasing down a familiar, but still, this was her only chance to show off, and she was completely denied that. The only good thing about this transformation is I like how the music times up with it. That's it. Similar to Sayaka, this one is real short, but that was because it was at a dire moment in the story. Valpurgisnacht was literally standing right in front of her, and Homura had to get shit done. The fast speed of the transformation and how not flashy the whole thing is kind of works in favor to Homura's character. She's done this enough times, she wouldn't be too bothered with her magical transformation anymore. She has more serious things to attend to. But again, this is a ranking of how cool these transformations are, and this one is just not that interesting. Even though it fits the character, it doesn't make it any more fun to watch. So, Rebellion is really unique. All the girls have a sort of themed dance to accompany their transformations. Sayaka got breakdancing. I'm sorry, but not a single thing about Sayaka has ever said breakdance to me. The girl is in love with classical music. Breakdancing? Don't get me wrong, I'm sure Sayaka could have a lot more vast interests in different music styles than just classical, but like, not breakdance. Quite frankly, I think a traditional waltz would have been best. You know, something that would require a partner. Since Sayaka's whole thing is becoming a magical girl was centered around her crush on Kyosuke. Beyond that, this one is the most eyesore-inducing of the bunch. The multiple delayed versions of her in different shades of blue only distract from her movements rather than emphasize them. Though, I do really like her running up to her night self and tripping just before she reaches it. It sort of hammers home Sayaka's behavior as a self-doubter a lot. But her emerging from the mess of water effects isn't as beautifully impactful as we'll see from the other girls. Also, her glamour shots at the end just aren't that great. This last jump is especially slow to me. The animation is great and I like elements of it, but overall, I feel like this missed the point of the character. By this point in time in the story, we all knew the secrets with magical girls, and this transformation happens just before we find out Sayaka's soul gem holds her actual soul. This transformation is punchy enough to give the imminent fight between her and Sayaka tension, but also snappy enough to sorta get it done and over with. I mostly love it for how the music lines up with it, and I think this excels the most in its simplicity. It's not amazing, but it's enough to make me remember it. Like I said before with Kyoko, Mommy got a second transformation with the updated movie too. Mommy's second transformation happened while in Charlotte's Labyrinth, just after Madoka tells her she wants to be a magical girl with her. And I think this is a really great opportunity to give Mommy another transformation, especially this one. It's snappy, so it doesn't take too long to get back to the story, but you can see just how happy Mommy is. She smiles through the whole thing, and she becomes surrounded by fluttering flower petals. It gives the whole scene a light feeling, uplifting, tying into Mommy's happiness to have a new partner in Madoka. And the growing flowers around her not only match her soul gem design, but also hint at the idea of a blossoming friendship. Knowing what comes after this transformation makes it all the more bittersweet. Mommy's last moment of exuberance when she still thought everything was going to start getting better for her. It's simple, but beautiful. The updated version of Sayaka's disappointing transformation from before. This one is good, and honestly, this works the best as a baseline for what counts between good and excellent. This is a good transformation. It does everything it needs to do, and it does it well. The visuals match Sayaka, but it's not too flashy or extravagant. Every transformation sequence should strive to be this visually interesting to watch. Now then, from here on out, everything is going to really take it up a notch, so strap in. Obviously, our holy quintet was going to appear as unlockable characters in the Magia Record mobile game. Rest in peace, every day I suffer without you. These transformations, when you unlock their cards, really go all out, and are consistently the longest transformations the girls get. Mommy starts out very reminiscent of her transformation from the original show, with a shot of her shoes doing a little skip thing. It's a really cute touch. What makes this the bottom of the app transformations for me, though, is this whole thing has a big emphasis on fashion, which is fine. It's just not something that's really hinted at with Mommy. I definitely believe she could be big into designer outfits and stuff, but overall, I find this decision more confusing than anything. Though, it is super cute seeing her hair down like this. It's a very cute transformation, and despite being an odd choice, it still feels like a good fit for Mommy. Homura's updated version from the original. It's still just as quick and snappy like before, but instead this transformation puts a lot more emphasis on the details of it all. Oh my god, seeing her hair blowing in the wind, or watching the intricacies of her shield forming around her wrist is just so inspiring. So short, so simple, but so beautiful. The level of detail poured into every aspect of this animation is mind-blowing. I could only wish it was longer, but I also feel like that would have detracted from the simplistic beauty of it all. It's just amazing animation. I don't know what exactly to call Kyoko's dance style here. The only word that comes to my mind is bolero, but I know that's a music style. Thanks, Zelda. Anyways, it matches Kyoko so well. It really hammers home the idea of fire, an overarching theme for Kyoko. I think having her hair do that is really what's selling it for me. But what really sets this one above and beyond isn't so much Kyoko in this transformation, but rather the different art styles on display. This transformation goes across a lot of different styles, and they're all so eye-catching. The one that really stands out to me is the sketchy-looking pen style we see, where her eyes are the same haunting red as her father's emblem from her backstory. It's amazing and striking. The only downside is her final poses are kind of dumb looking, and she lands off-center, which is just so bothersome to me. But that's really tiny compared to the beauty of the rest of her transformation. Sayaka's app transformation is very interesting to me. During the whole thing, she's constantly being put together by the other members of the Holy Quintet. I feel like it's a bit of a commentary on how easily Sayaka finds herself molded by what the other girls do or say. Sayaka struggles with coming to any real conclusions on her own accord, constantly relying on the other girls around her. The idea that she would even need their influence just to get her own magical outfit together is an interesting take. At least that's what I think is the point of the direction for this transformation. Beyond that, there's a lot of cute little details. I especially like how the hospital bed sheet becomes her cape, because that's a really smart touch. But another thing I don't like is, why is her hair so long? That just makes no sense. Whatever. Small detail, this is a unique and intricate transformation, making this my favorite of all of Sayaka's transformations. Madoka's whole transformation is the entire climax of the story. Everything's been building up to this key moment where Madoka ascends into being a god. This transformation had a lot of hype to live up to, and it does not disappoint. There's no real transformation to start out with, there's just an all-encompassing light, and we finally see her in that dress we've been alluding to in the opening this whole time. It's beautiful with the accented pink sparkles, but it doesn't end there. Because this isn't her final form. She still needs to become a god. Seeing the blank void of the body she once had suspended in space, only for her iconic pink hair standing out, is striking. And before you can even fully comprehend what you're looking at, a gigantic ornate dress encompasses her while her hair grows out seemingly infinitely. I didn't know what to expect when I watched a magical girl become a god, but this really feels like the best way to go about that. It's grand, it's beautiful, and it's the perfect finale for the show. Calling this a true transformation sort of feels like a stretch, especially with how brief her initial outfit reveal is. As a story beat, it's perfect. But as far as just the beauty of transformations go, there's still a lot more for us to talk about. Everything I didn't like about her second transformation from this movie is fixed here. It's slowed down enough to really help accentuate her outfit appearing into place, doing a great job showing off her style and personality. I also really like how her collapsible staff plays a big role in the flow of this transformation. My biggest gripe is, once again, the fire effects feel a little overwhelming, a little too fast. But I understand it's meant to keep up the heart-pounding pace of the scene. It's punchy, fun, and a great way to highlight Kyoko's personality. Homura is a special snowflake and actually has multiple iterations of her in the app. This is the no glasses version, the version of her that spent a lifetime going back and forth trying to stop Walpurgisnacht. This transformation has a sad theme of reversal. Most poignantly is watching Madoka running further and further away as we see Homura falling backwards. The pearlescent glass-like shell thing that encompasses Homura is an interesting choice. I'm not sure what I would have gone with, but this works. Also, it ends on that iconic Homura head tilt we all know and love. This is the first transformation from the whole show. It's the finale of episode 1, and it really needs to pack a punch. It definitely carries out that fun yet elegant vibe Mommy conveys. The ribbon themes throughout, twisting around her to become her accessories, is just so fantastic and intricately detailed. I especially love this pose of her corset locking into place. It makes Mommy look badass. It captures the feeling of this magical world really well, but I can't deny that there is is a better version of this transformation, and that is... Yes, I think the original version of this first transformation is better than the movie updated one. I could chalk it up to nostalgia, but there's a lot more than just that. First of all, I like how this one is a little bit punchier. I know I sound like I waffle between wanting these to be longer or shorter, and I'm sorry. But it's not so much the length of the transformation, more it's the speed of the different accessories coming into place. I think having Mommy stomping her boots into existence feels more powerful compared to the movie version. Kicking off her shoes into these little flowers and then ribbons wrapping around her looks cool, but this just helps deliver on how strong of a magical girl Mommy appears to be. This is also just a much more typical style of a magical girl transformation, which helps play into the innocent ruse of how dark Madoka Magica will become after a few more episodes. The update is great, but you just can't beat the classics. Honestly, I just really love this one. It feels like a perfect, tiny encapsulation of everything Madoka Magica feels like to me. The music is great and cheery, yet also slightly ominous. The shot of Madoka surrounded by all the other magical girls is prominent, not only because of what we know about her becoming Madokami, the savior of all magical girls, but also how reminiscent of Madoka's own confusion and hesitation about becoming a magical girl herself. Tumbling into almost creepy-looking versions of herself, multiplied infinitely, and then a brief shot of Homura gives me chills, leading all into her final outfit reveal, and it's just an uplifting feeling. This transformation makes me happy. It's smart if you know the story and the characters, and if you don't, it's still delightfully playful to watch. Mommy gets sort of a figure skating style for this transformation, which seems like a nice fit for her mature and elegant personality. The trail of flowers behind her is a really cute touch, but what really elevates this one above and beyond is the quick shifting in style. The colors changing makes my heart skip a beat, and the brief shot of the background looking awfully similar to Charlotte's Labyrinth gives this transformation a slightly uneasy edge, which perfectly matches the themes of the movie Rebellion. But just as quickly as you feel that unease, it shifts back into a typical beauty, watching as a decorated silhouette of Mommy erupts from the average version of her, being torn open once more to reveal her final design. The colors here, this petal-like tearing of the cocoons, it's all so beautiful, it's stunning, and leads perfectly into her elegant poses afterwards. Without a doubt, this is my favorite of Mommy's transformations. It plays with her flower themes perfectly, and I love it. Homura and Madoka appear in the second season of the anime Magia record, and they got some fancy new transformations to accompany them. First of all, I love this background. It's so different than what Homura usually gets. Usually she's stuck with nearly all black backgrounds, and this white and light purple design is a nice change of pace, especially with this final pose of hers. I'm getting a Sands of Time-like vibe with this. This transformation has similar themes of repetition, alluding to her time-traveling abilities, which is always so fun. The only downside is these gears look a little PlayStation 2-ish, which I like, but also doesn't quite fit the style that we got going on here. The idea of the gears is cool, once again alluding to the mechanisms of her shield. Aside from that, this is a great transformation. Alongside Homura, we also got Madoka, which becomes the most typical magical girl transformation Madoka ever gets, which is cool. Similar to the change of pace with Homura's background aesthetic, it's nice having a normal transformation for Madoka. She gets a lot of big, grand, complex transformations due to the nature of her godlike ascension. This is the only time we get a glimpse of what her very first original transformation might have been. It's bright and it's cute, and I really like the ribbon thing. It's super short, which is a bit of a shame, but I love it. The ribbon thing wrapped around her reminds me of that image of Madoka tied to time itself. It's all just cool. I really like this one. Just like Homura, Madoka is also a special snowflake and got multiple transformations from the app game. This one specifically for her god form, and it goes hard. No more playing cutesy here. This one goes all out with the dark themes that usually are only undertones for these transformations. Twisting, distorted visuals that send a chill up my spine. It's really cool watching Madoka split apart and multiply. No longer a singular being, but an overall theme to symbolize her godlike status. It's a cool way to play with the idea of representing a god that I had never considered before. But it's really that final shot of a crude drawn version of Madoka running, only to be whisked away, erased by time itself. Oof, if that doesn't punch you in the heart, I don't know what will. This transformation perfectly encapsulates all of the roller coaster of emotions that comes with Madoka Magica. Horrifying yet playful, sad yet hopeful, grandiose yet peaceful. It's a masterclass in emotion. Homura doesn't so much as dance as more she just seems to happily frolic. I guess we could call this freestyle. This playful mood is a really fun theme that matches Rebellion's overall tone. I also really like how her pigtails are done here. More great repetition imagery, especially fun with the broken film reel aesthetic. But what I really love is the shot where her silhouette tears open and Homura seems to be desperately pulling herself out of it. The beautiful vine and leaf-like pattern is so good, it looks amazing. Also, the fact she looks so desperate to get away from the darkness she broke out of, but doesn't ever quite get herself free of it, is a cool allusion to the fact Homura is trapped within her own labyrinth here. It's also smart, but personally I'm not a fan of her tumbly maneuvers at the end to get to her final pose, but that is so minor in comparison to everything else. There's so many smart layers to this transformation, making me want to watch it over and over again. Well, it's been a hot second since we've seen Kyoko on this list. Our fiery little vagabond lands number 3 on my list with her best transformation coming from the app. I love this one for Kyoko because it plays into a lot of themes for her character that we don't really usually see much in her other transformations. Like the video game DDR vibe to start the whole thing off. What a cool and creative start to a transformation, not only for Kyoko but for anyone. Watching the pixelated fire transform into what appears to be a legion of devout followers is so unique. That's another thing. Her dad's cultish religion she used her wish on is such a stunning imagery for this transformation, and none of her others ever play with this. It's always just fire, and Kyoko has so much more going for her. And this transformation proves it. I also think it's super smart how they brought back the paper doll style for her sister, using her own soul gem to light everyone ablaze, alluding to how Kyoko blames herself and her wish on the death of her family. Finally, the collapsing, burnt corpse blowing away as Kyoko embraces her soul gem perfectly parallels Kyoko's decision to embrace being a magical girl to survive on her own. This whole transformation is a creative way of describing Kyoko's whole backstory, and it's so cool. But here is one more app transformation that I think tops this one. I've mentioned the theme of repetition to play with Homura's time travel powers. Now take that idea and literally multiply it. The screen being split in half feels like we're literally watching 2 different attempts at the same transformation. The 2 sides of the screen are similar enough where you think it might be the same thing but from a different angle, but paying attention, you'll notice that's not the case. Almost as if she's gone back in time, and even changing a slight variant in her actions in this current timeline is an attempt to save Madoka. Endless returning to the same point of doing things over and over again with any change in plan or ability she can think of. That whole theme is perfectly executed here, but the actual visuals themselves really helps to play into these themes even more. The buffering icon, birds flying in reverse, a quick shot of a clock, it's also on point and it's stylish. A fun way to highlight everything Homura encompasses. This transformation begs to be watched over and over again to try to spot all of the differences and just revel in the intricacy of the imagery. This is my favorite Homura transformation, but there's only one more transformation for Madoka Magica that I think can top this one. Okay, Here we go. This transformation is literally the biggest reason I wanted to make this video. I wanted to talk about this so bad. Before we get into the transformation itself, a little bit of context with Rebellion. In this movie, Homura finds out she's actually been inside her own labyrinth the whole time. The final shot at the very end of the anime shows Homura becoming a witch, and this is her life inside of her own labyrinth. However, due to Madoka's wish, technically there shouldn't be any witches anymore. What happened was, as Madoka was coming in to rescue Homura's soul gem from becoming a witch, the nature of Homura's labyrinth trapped Madoka and her two secretaries, Sayaka and Bebe, inside of the labyrinth. Madoka was stuck in the labyrinth, unaware of her true form as a god. The awesome thing about this transformation is this is literally the moment where Madoka gets trapped inside the labyrinth. So, we see all four of the other girls' transformations first, and Madoka is the last one. At this point in time, the girls are just constructs of Homura's imagination, part of her delusion of her labyrinth that she still thinks she's a magical girl and everything is fine and she's with her friends. Madoka's transformation right off the bat feels a little bit different than the other girls. She has a very bright pattern across her body, where the other girls all only had like a flat, solid color. The background is really busy too, which is also different from the other girls. What's really weird though is her eyes and hands. All of the others had their eyes matching their transformations. Their eyes were colored to better match them. A tint of blue to Sayaka, a bit of red for Kyoko, etc. Madoka's eyes are just her regular eyes, and they're missing her eyelashes. And then there's her hands. None of the other girls had any part of their human skin tones on during the beginning of their transformations. Though these things might be subtle, it's just enough for your brain to go, something's off. But before you can even figure out what it is, the screen changes. The shifting patterns of Madoka's dance and her transformation intentionally makes it hard to keep your eyes on her. The second screen shows us a checkerboard pattern, where interestingly, half the Madokas now have a purple hue to her eyes, hands, and soul gem. A bit of a subtle hint at Homura's influence on this situation. And then throughout the rest of the transformation, she'll get tints of colors that'll match the rest of the Holy Quintet. Madoka is the only one whose body changes color during this transformation. Again, the other girls kept that one solid color until their final outfit reveal. Madoka is distinctly different from the norm. As Madoka continues to dance, she balances her soul gem on her head, which is weird. It's not a normal dance. None of this dance is normal. Hell, you could barely even call this dancing. Things have changed again, where now her eyes are completely blotted out, transparent to match the background colors. And then as soon as you're figuring that out, the screen suddenly shifts again, and now all of Madoka is blurred into one solid design, standing in front of a keyhole. Her background has displayed keys this whole time, and I believe it's meant to reference being locked in. Homura is locking herself and Madoka inside this labyrinth. Key imagery has never been used to depict Madoka before. Literally everything about this transformation just feels a little bit off. The more you look at it, the more you notice these weird things. Madoka is regularly out of focus or off-center, too big or too small. And then there's that real killer, that telltale broken film reel effect, an obvious allusion to Homura's time-traveling powers. This film reel effect has been used multiple times across all of Homura's transformations, including the one we see in this movie. This is the biggest hint. This isn't a real transformation for Madoka. This is Homura. This is Homura's powers. Homura is the one making this whole situation happen. The broken film reel depicts many little figures that resemble Madoka, alluding to her godlike status. Like we saw in prior transformations for Madoka, her powers as a god get depicted with multitudes of Madokas, repeated as they are tied together with Homura's time traveling. That's what makes Madoka so powerful in the first place. And then, this is it! We see this quick, glitched screen with Madoka in her full outfit, clearly, over a static background. She's not looking at the screen. This isn't the real Madoka yet. This is still Homura's imaginary Madoka, the one that started in this movie with her. None of the girls in this labyrinth were real yet. That's why their personalities were all a little bit off. They're all close friends, everything's hunky-dory, because none of them are real. This is still Homura's imagination of her being locked inside of her labyrinth. I believe this Madoka that we are seeing is from Homura's perspective. She's looking over at the girl in her labyrinth that's meant to be Madoka, hoping to see the real Madoka instead. That's when it finally happens. A giant hand fills the screen, shattering through something. This is Madokami's hand. This is the moment it happened. This was when Madokami was reaching into Homura's soul gem to take her up into heaven with her, and this was the moment Madoka accidentally got stuck in the labyrinth. Madokami filled the empty pocket that was once an imaginary girl, and to us, it just looks like a regular old magical girl transformation, but it wasn't. It was so much more! This is the instant Homura accidentally trapped God inside of her labyrinth. It's so brilliant, and it's so smart! Hiding this big of a plot point with this transformation sequence, which famously across media has used different fantastical imagery to hide the biggest plot point of the whole movie happening? Amazing. Incredible. When I realized that was what was happening here, I felt like my brain had exploded. It's so smart. And that is why this is my #1 favorite Madoka Magica transformation, because it's so much more than just a transformation. I love it. And that is my rankings for Madoka Magica transformations. With so many transformations, I'm sure you all watching this might have different opinions than me. So please, go ahead and share them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you liked or didn't like. Was there anything I missed? Let me know in the comments below. Shout out to my $10 patrons, you're all amazing. Nako, James Dodds, Cool Duck, Andrew, Ramiel, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, Classy Critic, Sunny Shy, Azoth, Great Bar, Pentamenta, Jake, Amber, Hype Man, Zero to Hero, Keithan, Isaiah, Joseph, Scaring Crows, Not All That Evil, Danny Boy, Messiah Complex, Jacob, Varus, and Zach. I hope you liked this video. Do you agree with me? Do you think that's when Madokami was reaching in to save Homura? If you're not, let me know what you think. Any and all thoughts and opinions about Madoka Magica's transformations or other shows you want to see transformation rankings of, leave them in the comments below. Any and all thoughts and opinions, I would love to see them, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.